Hey, Mike Gerberding here. You are getting this message because you contacted me off of Wealth Beyond Wall Street's radio ad, and I've got a message for you guys. I've got a couple of things that I'd like to give you. But first, I'd like to just share a little bit about me, Mike Gerberding here. I'm the gentleman that called you or perhaps worked with you if you accidentally get this email. I wanted to share with you guys a little bit about why I do what I do. I grew up in Richfield, which is a suburb in the South Metro by Bloomington and Edina, and I grew up in a blue collar house. So my dad was a maintenance man for 27 years. He worked at Control Data in the broiler room and did a lot of that work. My mom kind of worked on and off, but my dad worked for 27 years for the same company, and long story short, he got laid off after 27 years of employment. When he got laid off, it's because of Seagate, and then they took over Control Data. When my dad got laid off, they forced my dad to take his own retirement account into his own hands, self-management. It was a forced deal. He couldn't have left it there, and he ended up investing with a local financial advisor that lost almost all my parents' money. Now, I'm sure part of it was my parents' fault. You know, maybe they told him to sell when he was low. I don't really know the whole story. I do know that they lost nearly everything, which was completely devastating to my parents. And as a result, you know, they never trusted anybody ever again, except for me because I'm their son. But it was a major blow. It was a major blow to my family. And as a result now, that's what fuels me every day. I love helping people. I love helping widows when their husbands passed away and knowing that, you know, they entrusted their faith in me and their trust in me to really manage everything. Because whether we like it or not, money is our everything. Your retirement accounts are your everything. They're your hours, your blood, sweat, tears, everything that you've worked for. Your whole life is wrapped up in your retirement accounts. And so when people decide to trust me, they are trusting me with their entire life to give them wise counsel, to shoot them straight, to give them wise counsel, to teach them the direction they should go and advise them in the direction that they should go in life. And I don't take that for granted, and I don't take that lightly. It's a big deal. You know, I think about, especially if you live in Minnesota, right? All the days you drove through the snow, almost crashed. I mean, the stuff we go through for work and for employment is crazy. Actually, my dad too, he actually never complained. He worked harder than anybody that I've ever met. Woke up at 3:30 in the morning and worked his tail off and never complained. The last 10 years of his life, he got injured on the job and he wouldn't say anything to his employer because he was scared of getting fired because all the young guys that worked there. So he felt he had to work twice as hard as everybody else to not get fired and not complain. And so anyhow, that's what fuels me, and that's what I try to bring to every single client that I meet. Just a pure position of love and loving people and doing what's right for them. And so anyhow, I'm sending you this message because we've never done business together, and I wanted to share a couple of things and hopefully give you a free takeaway here at the end. So number one, you called in because you were worried about a stock market crash. You were worried about taxes going up. You were worried about not being able to save for retirement. Or perhaps you're worried about running out of money, and which is a major concern, a legitimate concern for everybody in this country. If you're going to retire, a major concern is actually running out of money. A few things that are way out of our control. Inflation, we don't know what the cost of goods are going to be in the next 10, 20, 30 years. They could be unprecedented. I mean, really. I saw something today that showed, you know, over 200% inflation on many of our normal goods and services. And then taxes, we don't know what taxes are going to be. We don't know if the government will come out and say, if you have an IRA, you're going to be taxed at this rate. Overall, anybody could get into office, somebody that's got some really wild ideas like Bernie Sanders, free everything, just give everybody free college and everything like that. Well, who's going to pay for it? Well, the taxpayer is going to pay for it. So there's a lot of things that people are worried about. There's a lot of legitimate concerns, a lot of legitimate threats that we face in retirement that we need to plan against, the things that we can't control. And so that's what I do. People come to me and they're like, hey, I'm worried about running out of money. I'm worried about outliving what I have. I only have X amount of dollars saved up. I don't want to lose it in the next market crash. All very valid concerns. Look, if you were going to retire before 2008 and you went through that crash, chances are you didn't retire. You just kicked out your retirement goal by 7 to 10 years. And that's an average in our country. And everybody thinks, everything's so great right now that the stock market's higher than it's ever been. And it is. But how did it get there? Did our GDP reflect it? As a country, did we work and plant seeds and grow those seeds to produce fruit? Absolutely not. What we did is we printed money. We bailed out the companies that caused the crash in 2008, and then they printed money. The government printed almost $4 trillion pumped into our system, caused the stock market to spike. We're all the way up at the top, and what's coming next, I don't know. I'm not here to be a naysayer. Hopefully it never does correct, but you know the way the things go. But we need to plan against it, whether it happens or not. We need to make sure that we are protected against market crashes. So I've got all kinds of solutions that I do for people. One of them would be getting people down to the 0% tax bracket. They're worried about that taxation going up in the future. And if that's a concern for you, you got to get rid of all those IRAs, convert everything over to Roth, do all these Roth conversions, set up new plans into tax-free distributions, eliminate the taxation on your Social Security benefit, eliminate the taxes on the small IRA that you'll have left that we don't touch. Make sure that we don't lose significant amounts of money in the market. That can be a managed money side where you still have risk, but we have tools in place to prevent the major market crash from happening. So we have a tactical fund right now that goes in and out of the market automatically depending on whatever's happening. There's still risk involved, but it's in cash right now. So in that last 10% that the market's dropped, our clients haven't lost in that, but they still have the opportunity to get back in and have the market go up. For other people, maybe you don't have that much money saved up and you just want to protect it against market losses. We do indexed accounts for that. A lot of people say, well, there's not enough money in that in terms of the upside, but I've seen many of my clients average 5%, which is pretty darn good. There's new ones that have come out that are projecting 7, 8, 9, 10% returns, which is unbelievable, I think. Whether that happens or not, we'll see. But the main thing is you need to protect yourself against these fears. My clients, when they first start out, they're terrified. They're worried about all these things. They can't sleep at night. They're stressed out. I don't know what keeps you up at night, but it's different for everybody. And at the end of the day, what I'm looking to do is eliminate all those fears that you have or reduce them as much as possible. Reduce that anxiety, give you a level of peace, give you a financial plan that you feel good about. You're not worried about the markets crashing. You're not worried about taxes going up. You're not worried about Social Security going away if we can plan for that or being reduced as they're planning right now. We just eliminate as many threats as we possibly can. Because at the end of the day, I've got clients that are, in their 20s. Heck, I got babies at clients, I guess, because some clients set up their grandchildren. But I look at the people that are in their 80s, and the biggest thing to them at that point, because they're at a stage of life where they're not spending as much money, they're not doing the traveling as much anymore, they're really just kind of simplifying their life. The biggest thing for them is just not losing it. They just can't lose it. They can't afford to even stomach a market crash. Even if I said I guarantee we could put you in the market but not lose, they just don't want to worry about it. Even that little, it's just not worth it. Towards the end, it's not worth the risk. And so there's different ways to do it. I kind of say that I'm an alternative investment advisor. I pull out all the different stops that most advisors aren't willing to teach you about to try to give you that high level of peace that you want and you deserve. And so that's exactly what I do. So this is what I'm going to offer you. The most valuable thing that we have in life, each and every single one of us, especially since my father passed. He actually never did get to retire. A real sad story. I won't go into it, but he passed 3 days before he was going to let his employer know that he was planning on retiring. And it might have been that stress that did it. But anyway, the most valuable thing that we have, people, is we have our time. And that's the most valuable thing that I can give to you. It's not a book. It's not a lesson. It's not a webinar. It's a look into the eyeballs. You and I, one-on-one together, all I can offer you is my time. I can look at your situation and try to give you the best solutions that I possibly can to help you in whatever area that is. And so that's what I'm offering you. If you resonated with anything that I said today, and you kind of said, geez, I need a little bit of that help, I would advise you to get the help. One thing I'm not very good at is cooking. And, my wife sometimes asks me to cook, and I usually burn things. I try to cook it too fast. I don't do a great job. And my kids suffer. They don't want to eat it. I don't really want to eat it. But at the end of the day, when it comes to your finances, it comes to your future, it comes to your life, you're not cheating on your advisor to get a second opinion. And that's what I'm offering you. I've got 14 offices around the metro. I have for many years. They're all like satellite offices, but if you live in Wisconsin, I can meet you in Lake Elmo. If you live in St. Cloud, I can meet you at the office in St. Cloud. If you live in the metro, I've got many around the metro. And that's what I offer you. So if you need the help, I would encourage you to give me a call or shoot me an email back. My number here is 612-804-9211. And again, my name is Mike Gerberding. Again, it's 612-804-9211. If you need the help, help yourself. No skin off my back. That's all I can do. That's my gift to you, is giving you the best advice that I possibly can, even if you don't use me, which some people don't, and that's okay. I still think that there's purpose in me educating people and getting them going in the right direction, even if they don't use me. So, all right, that's all I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for your time, and I wish you all well. Take care. Bye-bye.